Mr. Mauro, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for welcoming me here.
First, welcome to Dubai. On behalf of Emirates Watch Club, I would like to welcome you in Dubai for your second time, I believe. And thank you so much for allowing us to do this interview with you, sir, and to get us to know more about your brand. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you first about your brand. If you don't mind giving us a brief about Schwarz-Etienne. When did it start? What Schwarz-Etienne is about? What is it best at? What differentiates Schwarz-Etienne from other brands?
So first of all, Schwarz-Etienne was born from a love story starting in 1902. So the love story began 30 years before, because Mr. Paul Arthur Schwarz got married with Mrs. Olga Etienne, and they create not a brand at that time, but a company called Schwarz-Etienne, where they did the construction and production of movements under 3 different names. We had Schwarz-Etienne Venus movement and Alpha movement until the 50s. During the 50s, they felt that the most complicated part of the watch was already built by them, which is a movement. And they decided to launch 2 brands, Claude Wilhelm, female brand, and Schwarz-Etienne. Everything with manufactured inside house movements. And this lasted until the 70s. 70s quartz crisis, all the watch industry was down. But they survive. And they restart another business, always having the brand beside, which was private label. So Schwarz-Etienne did the first watch of Chanel, development and production for Chanel, because Chanel was not a watchmaker at that time.
When was that?
It was in 82, I think, 82, 83. And they developed La Première. Still, the watch is still existing now, the rectangular watch with mechanical movement for them. They did a lot of Alfred Dunhill watches, Jaguar, Mauboussin, and so on. And this gave the opportunity to Schwarz-Etienne to relaunch the brand, but at that time not anymore with manufacturing movement. And this lasted until 2007, where Mr. Paul Schwarz, so the grandson of Paul Arthur Schwarz, they had a lot of imagination, same name, after the generation, who was ill and no one to continue the business, decided to sell the brand to Mr. Radicki, who is the owner now. So personally, I arrived in 2014 there, and strategically, at that time, we had collection with Salida movement, with Concepto movement, and so on. And the first 2 manufacture movement we have inside house since 2013. And I decided to build a brand only on manufacture movement, because beside we had another company, and it's one part which different. It's a big differentiation, against the other brands, that we produce our own airspring balance wheel.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I like that it started with a love story. That's makes it very interesting.
You need to be passionate, you need to be obsessed, you need to have love, and much love to continue to develop that kind of.
Even though it was only recently sold to another owner, but the name was kept the same, Schwarz-Etienne.
Yeah, absolutely. And what is really important is that brand, because you have a lot of brands you take out from a hat, because the brand died in 1850, and 100 years later or 150 years later, oh yes, this brand exists. No, Schwarz-Etienne, no disruption for 120 years.
So it was a continuous work since the beginning until today, non-stop. That's brilliant. I mean, it has a lot of history. I like the personal touch, how it started at first, and then the grandson carrying the same name, how it is today. So now that we know about the history of this watch, of this brand, tell us about the future of this brand. So what roadmap do you have, or short-term goals, long-term goals? I mean, what's Schwarz-Etienne roadmap, let's say?
I think to understand the roadmap, you have to understand the differentiation we have. So first of all, the assortment. Second thing, our own movements, which are totally constructed at home, inside house, and fully assembled inside house also. After we subcontract some components, clearly, because we're not able, we're small, we are 22 people right now, we'll be 30 at the end of the year. And we need to subcontract components because the cost will be too much if you have everything inside house. So this is the first thing. Second thing, so we have our own movements, our own design we can play with. And third thing, it's also the final touch of Schwarz-Etienne. When you look at our product, we play with the small complication on a totally other way than the others. This means that we de-dramatize the complication. It's like Houdini who show its magic tool, you know. You show on top how it functions. If you have that on Roswell 08, for example,
yeah,
with a column wheel at 5 o'clock.
I can see that, like, you present the complications, as you said, on the surface. You can see the micro rotors on some of your watches, the balance wheel, even the tourbillon,
the small retrograde seconds. So my wish was not to educate, because we are no one to educate people, but just to be playful, you know. And if someone wants to share the functionality of his watch with his best friend, with his son, or with anyone, it's easy to do, you know.
Easy to flip the watch to show, because a lot of the watches with these highly complicated components, most of the time you have to take it off, flip it to show the people. But your watch is on the surface; you can see everything on top.
And being the son of an antique watch dealer, I used to play with pocket watches. But pocket watches, it was easy because you can open the back. When you play with a minute repeater, you charge it and you understand the mechanism. Yeah. And I have been really frustrated because I've never been able to understand the functionality and how the retrograde system function. It's a reason why we did it on the tourbillon, petite seconde rétrograde.
That is absolutely interesting, because I hear this statement, a lot of people say, this watch, it's best worn upside down, because the back of the watch most of the time is even more beautiful than the front. But I like that how you combine both beauty in terms of mechanism and in terms of just simple watch telling, both to be presented in front.
But it's also really complex because you have to find the way to go through with the hands, you know, and with the pinion and so on. So it's another complication.
Exactly. I'm sure it's not an easy job to do. I want to ask you about Kari Voutilainen. You've been working with him for some time now. I see massive collaboration between you guys and a lot of the watches. So tell us about this relationship with Kari, and what is it like working with Kari Voutilainen? I mean, he's a very well known in the watch industry in terms of finishing and in terms of very small details. So tell us about your experience with Mr. Kari.
So my experience started, so I met him 5 years ago in London, the first time. And I saw him going alone back to the hotel after the fair, because it was during a fair there. And I think the third evening or the second evening, I told him, listen, Kari, so we met yesterday. Would you like to join us? Because we went each evening to a dinner, attending a dinner with the MBMF team, with the Wover team, and other brand team, you know. He said, yes, okay. And we started to talk during the dinner. And, you know, something happened. We become friends. We became friends quite easily, you know. The year after, again, we met on different places, you know, in Luxembourg and so on. And the relationship was always more,
So it started out as a friendship.
as a friendship, you know. And on my side, I will never do any collaboration if the watchmaker or if any kind of people are not my friend. This is sure. I need to feel something, to share something with that people. And finally, it was 2 years after in London, after a bit of wine. It was 11 o'clock in the evening. I told Gary, listen, Gary, I need a bit of classicism on my watches. You can tell me yes or no, that it won't affect our relationship. And you have 2 weeks to answer. 2 weeks after, he called me and said, okay, let's go, let's start.
So he took the whole 2 weeks to think about it.
Yes, I gave him 2 weeks, you know,
All right. So, I mean, I can see one of your collaborations here on the table and also on my wrist. You can see the integration, like, you don't feel there's a collaboration. It's like a watch that made in one manufacturer, one place. You don't feel this two different brands getting together. You feel like it's a one brand, one watch. So it's so integrated, so beautiful. Like when you look at the movement, when you look at the dial with the watch, how it's integrated, how is this collaboration going forward. For me, in my personal opinion, I think this is one of the best collaborations that I've seen in the watch industry when it comes to high-end watches. You're most welcome, sir. So I want to ask you another question regarding your visits here in Dubai. I believe this is your second visit, and last week you had a bit of a tour around the GCC countries. What do you think of the local watch community now that you're interacting with the Emirates Watch Club? I'm sure that you met other clubs also in the region. So what do you think of Emirates Watch Club here in Dubai, the watch community in Dubai and UAE, and also in the GCC countries?
So it's clear and simple. The people I met here 2 years ago during the Watch Week, thanks to one other beautiful guy, Mr. Dr. Malek, I was so surprised, you know, because the know-how in terms of watchmaking was huge. People so educated, open-minded, cool. So to tell you the truth, I fall in love with the Emirates Watch Club members, and during that week, you know, so clearly we met other people, and I think the level is really high. The level is really high because sometimes you met people, okay, they say they are collectors. So, someone told me yesterday, I don't want to say I'm passionate, because the passion is something, okay, but everyone is using that word. And it was a girl. She told me I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah, that's, I think,
you know,
one level higher.
One level higher, but
Yeah.
you know, I've been learning. I am born in middle of watches.
Yeah.
I work in this field since more than 20 years now, for different brands. But the people here, I've learned things, you know, coming from the collectors in that city.
Yeah. I mean, I was also surprised 2 years ago. The amount of people that came to that show, Dubai Watch Week, were massive. If you compare it to the Dubai Watch Week, the 2 years even before that, it wasn't even quarter of that amount of people. I think also these events getting together here in the region, also social media made it easier for us to know each other and create these communities. And myself, I was surprised 2 years ago that there's a lot of people here interested in watches, have the same interest as I do, as the Emirates Watch Club does. And this is where Dr. Malik that you mentioned, the founder of the Emirates Watch Club, gathered all of us together. And one of our watches productions is the Schwarz-Etienne collaboration with Khaled with the Eastern Arabic numbers, the red dial with the gray surrounding of it.
Stunning and beautiful piece, by the way. Beautiful, I love it.
This watch, I mean, took the attention in the Dubai Watch Week. And I was walking around there with some of my friends from the Emirates Watch Club. So a few members were wearing this watch during the watch week, and it grabbed a lot of people's attention. It was, for me, the highlight of that week, the announcement, the watch itself, the beauty of it. So tell us about this watch and the impact this watch did, because when we saw this watch at Dubai Watch Week, I think there's a lot of collaborations came afterwards with the similar design or pattern and the similarities in terms of the markers, the numbers, Eastern Arabic numbers. So what do you think about this collaboration, and what did it do to the brand in the region here?
So you know, first of all, about this watch, it was part of the first collaboration we did with club or with point of sales. It was on the top 3, but the first with Arabic numbers. It was the first one. The choice of the colors, we have been working hard with Dr. Malek also to find the right balance, because we did several essays, you know, with gray color, red color, and so on. And also the dial supplier Comblemin belonging to Cari, it was difficult to find out the right balance, you know. But it was amazing. It was amazing because you know, we always work with first of all a design, with a graphist. We have not inside house, but it's a friend of us. And then we present that, and after the process can take 2-3 months to get the prototype. And one thing which is also important, the color. Each time we change the color, the guy dealing with and producing the colors, because it's a transparent lacquer which is charged with colors. And we give a Pantone, or we give an example of that color we want, and the guy took half a day to find the right color, any kind of color. So it's long. It's a long process. But
especially with the guichet patterns, I mean, you can also reflect in different angles with different lighting, and the color will change.
Absolutely, and you're not allowed to do any kind of things. For example, color which are full, they switch off everything, you know. So it's the reason why we need transparency on the colors. But this ones, I was almost jealous, because it's the truth. I was almost jealous because we had a sand one and a blue one, the 2 limited edition, which are more quiet in terms of, but the mix of these 2 color, I not suddenly, but I fully fall in love with that watch.
Definitely nailed it. I mean, I'm borrowing Dr. Malek's watch. This is now mine. I'm also jealous. And on the wrist also, it's a beautiful piece. And we also have the Dubai edition. It's also limited of 10. And I would say this is as beautiful as this. I mean, even the color combination on this watch, the golden yellow with these greenish gray around the surrounding, also something very beautiful. That's another amazing collaboration. I mean, with the same designed movement by also Kari Voutilainen with the micro rotor. It's just stunning watch. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. So the mix of the color, I have to say something. Taste of Dr. Malek comes from I don't know where, but it's sure that the mix of color he choose are always perfect. So I think I know from where it is, because again we are talking about. I think we can talk about obsession also. You know, when you are obsessed, or when you are collectors, when you see any kind of watches coming on the market, this helps also to refine your taste on the long term, you know. But both apps are absolutely stunning. And this one, it's on the process, for example. This one we have no lacquer on that one. The both process, the green and the yellow, is a 3-end gold, is obtained by in a bath, you know, electroplating bath. It's a plating, and the green color, it's one of the most difficult color to obtain.
Yeah, it is. I can only imagine how hard it is to perfect this kind of combination and this kind of color, and it's absolutely amazing, beautiful. So I noticed, Mauro, you're wearing 2 watches today. Of course, 2 Schwarz-Etienne, and I want to ask you something maybe outside the Schwarz-Etienne brand. I mean, what other brands do Mauro wears or owns in terms of his personal collection?
You know, it's always, it's messy for me, because not Lionel, it's just messy. Why? Because when you develop a brand, so no way for me to wear another watch. I've been working. I have Panerai, I have Cartier, I have several different watches. Even Dior, one I love because we developed it in the past. I have no Rolex because I've seen Rolex too many times since I was a child, so it's not my taste. I have a lot of respect for that brand, a huge respect, because qualitatively speaking, they are perfect, you know, and I understand that people buy it, but I have no. My favorites, but again, it's a question of art. I've been the first in the Richemont group to get a Panerai when I left the group. So I'm really proud of that, because I participated to the launch of Panerai in '98, and it's a Lumino 44 millimeters.
I mean, I'm sure you're attached to the story behind Panerai, because a lot of people, when they go with Panerai, they don't go for the movement or for maybe the design is unique, yes, but might not be the best looking design. However, they go for the history, the heritage behind the Panerai, and I can see you're passionate about the heritage and
I'm also Italian. From my origin are Italian, so my origin. I'm Swiss also, but
okay. I hope you support Inter Milan, man. Well, you do, and then now you become even more friends. Last question. I want you to give some exclusive news or exclusive, say, breakout news for Emirates Watch Club. If you don't mind, I hope you have something in your sleeves that exclusive for Emirates Watch Club today in this interview that you can share with us.
Yes, so sadly I would like to share a lot of information.
Okay,
but it's a little bit too soon. What I can tell you is that okay, we will launch several products this year. We'll have a launch within 3 weeks on Roswell 08, changing the color, working with different PVD, mixed with PVD and lacquer. Something also stunning and really fresh, something new on Roswell. During the Watches and Wonders, we will work on the Roma 39mm, changing the, not anymore with Gary, clearly, because we stopped the collaboration, taking orders on the collaboration. It was last May, I think, end of April. I think it was end of April. Now we try to produce because we have a huge.
So there are no more requests or orders on this kind of.
So the orders are here. We have orders inside house.
That has already been placed.
already been placed since May last year, and we will finish the delivery in perhaps May, June this year, because of capacity issues. And the main capacity issues we have on that watch is the guilloche pattern, which is done only with one machine, because it's sadly the machines are old, you know, even if they are retrofitted. But you are not able to take another machine to make the same, because the same decoration, because it won't be the same. So the bottleneck is clearly one machine. It's the reason why we have this long-term. And last but not least, our strategy is not to build the brands on collaboration. What happened with Kari, it's clear on our side, because it has been 5 years before that we did the relaunch of the brand with a new strategy of manufacturing movement. But clearly, and also thanks to you guys here, this put the brand inside the radar, you know, worldwide. And next year we'll have another collaboration, not anymore on Roma, but on Roswell. We will reduce the size, 40 millimeters, and you will see a moon phase like no one else treat the moon phase that way. It won't be a ball, it won't be a disc, it will be something else.
Okay, I can't wait to see this watch.
So this is what I can say, not more, sadly.
I mean, you said enough. Thank you so much, Mauro, for your time and for allowing us to do this interview. Personally, I had a lot of fun talking to you, and I'll continue talking to you behind the scene. But thank you so much for being a host at Emirates Watch Club.
Thank you for welcoming me, and it's always a pleasure to be here.
Most welcome.
And thanks to Dr. Malek for everything he did for us.
Thank you so much.
And of the club also. Best wishes to you guys.
Thanks a lot.